Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to WWE News and Rumors. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. Brandon here, and the first news story of the day we're going to be talking about is going to be about Kevin Owens, or Kevin Steen, depending on which era you want to consider him. So basically, his indie name was Kevin, well, I guess his real name's Kevin Steen as well. But anyway, when he was on the indies, he did a move, okay? This move was called the Steenalizer. The Steenalizer, very cool name for a move. Very, I don't know, I don't want to say cool, I mean it is a cool looking move, but it's a very dangerous looking move, and when you see the move you're like, oh my god, is he okay? Is his neck broken in half? So basically, he grabs the person, puts them up in a powerbomb position, then flips them backwards so they land on their head, but they're supposed to hit their head on the turnbuckle pads, so they're supposed to be okay. But apparently the reason we haven't seen this move inside of WWE by Kevin Owens is because he actually banned it himself. He banned it from his own arsenal. This isn't a WWE ban or anything, but he banned it himself. He said, no one ever got injured when I did this move, but there were a few close calls and I wasn't comfortable continuing to do the move. And personally, if the roles were reversed, I would not agree to take the move, so I don't think it's right to continue to do it. So I get that, and it's a very dangerous looking move. It's a cool looking move, but is the risk really worth the reward? I'm with Kevin Owens or Kevin Steen. I'm not. I don't think the risk is worth the reward for that one. Okay, the next news story of the day is going to be about Jimmy Uso. So Jimmy Uso, if you don't know, is the Uso from the Usos that is injured. So he's been injured for quite some time. He had to have surgery and all the whole ordeal, and it's just been a giant mess. So his brother Jay has actually gave an update on Jimmy's return. He said he doesn't know exactly for sure, but he would say January or February he would be perfectly clear to return. So Jay Uso, Jimmy Uso, the Usos will be back together as a tag team, I guess, in January or February. Composer of all classic, I don't want to say classic, but all like good WWE theme songs were composed by this guy. His name's Jim Johnston. I'm sure most of you probably have heard of Jim Johnston. You know who the guy is. If not, you've heard his like theme songs. Like he's the person responsible for the Undertaker's theme song. He's the person responsible for The Rock's theme song, or all that good stuff. And even the stuff with Cena they work together on that kind of stuff. So Jim Johnston is basically an icon in the world of wrestling. But the question remains: why is Jim Johnston not in the Hall of Fame? Because if you don't know, Jim Johnston a few years ago was actually fired by the WWE. The guy who made all this classical stuff, he was just fired with no notice. He was just like, yeah, you're fired. It's like, what? It's like, we're moving a different direction with the music. We want to do more electronic stuff. We don't really want real instruments and real composing and all that good stuff anymore, so you're fired. Basically, that's what WWE said to him, at least in my mind. I mean, it probably went a little more respectful than that, but basically he wasn't given too much notice on the release, and basically he has done an interview recently saying that he has had a lot of trouble actually finding work after being fired from the WWE, because like working for any other like music company or trying to put together pieces or something, when it's like, hey, where did you work before? They're like, WWE Pro Wrestling. They just don't take it seriously. They're like, what? You made wrestlers theme song? Get the hell out of here. They don't take him as a legitimate like composer, like artist. It's like just crazy to think of that. I mean, it really sucks, because if you really think about it, more people have probably listened to Jim Johnston's work and enjoyed his work, and it's more memorable than the people who are putting him down, their work will ever be. So it's crazy. It really sucks. But another thing, he is not in the Hall of Fame. He should be in the Hall of Fame. So I know he was released, but that doesn't stop them from putting people in the Hall of Fame. I mean, I would imagine he's still getting like royalty checks from his work that he did for WWE, so he's not like broke or anything. I would imagine he's still getting like an income from WWE from all his songs and stuff. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm standing here right now, December of 2020, let's say 2021, Jim Johnston, WWE Hall of Fame class of 2021. Are you guys with me, or are you guys against me? If you don't know who Jim Johnston is, look up his work, it's amazing. So there you guys have it. Those are actually all the confirmed news stories today, and now we're going to use my catchphrase. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all the news stories, and now we're going to talk about some juicy rumors. Alright, the first rumor is about WWE Monday Night Raw and the USA Network. So if you don't know, this past week Raw hit the record low. It seems like the hits a record low a lot recently, but you know, there's a lot of contributing factors to that. The product is not the greatest right now. We have a pandemic going on, so there's not a whole lot they can do. There's no crowd. There's a lot contributing to it. Plus, mid-December is always the lowest every year, so it's like the lowest time of the year. So anyway, apparently USA Network was actually quite upset about seeing the numbers. They were actually furious, and they're demanding changes on Monday Night Raw. And I would like to stand here and say, okay, if you guys really want to make changes, how about we move Raw to 2 hours? Because 3 hours, everything's getting watered down, everything's getting stretched out way past the point it should be stretched to, and yeah, it's just crap. So let's move it to 2 hours, or maybe even better, since the pandemic's going on, maybe we should just move all wrestling shows back to 1 hour, and then it's just like a compressed piece. Like, imagine if you wrote like a 3 hour show and then had to do that 3 hour show in 1 hour. Like, that is going to be just like a hyper, like, energy-filled show that's just going to be amazing. But that's just my 2 cents on that. But basically, USA Network has talked to WWE and said, we demand changes for Monday Night Raw. We demand more adult content. It's like, wait, what? This is a PG show. So maybe, just maybe, they'll go back to TV 14. I don't know. The reason that they haven't went back to TV 14 or anything like that is because of the sponsors. It's harder to get sponsors if you're in a different like category, I guess. But basically, they're like, we want more adult content. And by adult content, we don't mean like sexual things. We don't mean like sexiness. We mean like, we want more like dark and violent stuff on Monday Night Raw. We want this to feel like an actual fight, is basically what USA Network is saying. So we'll see what changes they're gonna do, but I guess tomorrow we will know 100% what will be happening to change Monday Night Raw, hopefully for the better. Okay, the next rumor. The next rumor is actually about NXT. So NXT is actually going to be getting a new show, maybe in 2021. So we all know they do the they do the NXT Takeover shows. They do their weekly show every Wednesday. But apparently they're getting a new show, and I don't think it's just going to be like a special or whatever. I think they're actually talking about giving NXT another weekly show. You know how like WWE main roster, they have Raw and SmackDown and pay-per-views too. They're thinking maybe for NXT they'll give them 2 shows a week and a pay-per-view a month, just like they do for the main roster. I mean, if the crowd comes back fully and everything gets back to normal and they could they have enough, I don't know, if they have enough storylines and enough wrestlers to kind of keep everything interesting without watering it down. Like, this is the issue. WWE, they do, 5 hours of television a week, not counting pay-per-view week. Pay-per-view week, what does that bring up? Like 8 hours a week of content they have to come up with. I just don't want them to water down NXT, and having multiple shows a week could do that. Maybe they could do like a brand split if they're doing that. And just have some NXT wrestlers on one of the shows, but then again, they have to have a lot of talent. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens, but they're talking about another NXT show possibly popping up in 2021. Okay, the next rumor is about the Royal Rumble. So it's not about the Royal Rumble match, it's actually about a United States Championship match between Lashley versus Riddle. So that's the rumor. Royal Rumble 2021. The next pay-per-view is happening. I'm very excited for it. Hopefully fans will be allowed to go. There's a lot of rumors saying that WWE will be announcing something soon, that fans will be allowed to go of some capacity. Doesn't mean they could go fully, like full out, but they're gonna have like, I think pods is what they were talking about doing. Like each group of like tickets, you guys get like your own pod, and there's like this like plexiglass plastic, like this clear plastic in between each group of people. So that will definitely help. We'll just have to wait and see what happens, but I would love to go to the Royal Rumble. But anyway, one of the matches that is going to be happening, maybe, it's a rumor, guys, so just take it with a grain of salt, is going to be Lashley versus Riddle for the United States Championship. Speaking of a Riddle, so this one is about Riddle and his actual contract. His actual contract is coming up quite soon, coming up next year. So the thing is he going to resign? I mean, obviously he's going to resign. I mean, look where he's placed inside the company. He was just in NXT, he was brought up, and now he's on television every week, and it's a great thing. So what is the contract they're actually offering him? Normally we don't get a lot of details about wrestlers' contracts, but this one's actually out there everywhere. So the contract they're offering him that they basically agreed upon already, and he still has to sign it. It's going to be a 3-year contract, so 3 more years of Riddle at least. So a 3-year contract is going to be $400,000 a year. Every year, plus $50,000 every time he goes to Saudi Arabia, which is pretty good. And remember, that's the downside guarantee, so he can definitely make more money, I would assume. That's just kind of the least amount of money he'll be making, which $400,000 is a lot less than Brock Lesnar, but on the bright side, it's still a lot of freaking money. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the final news story, the final rumor, the final thing we talk about inside of this episode of WWE News Rumors. There's gonna be a lot of things in this, so TLC is actually just a few hours away. I'm hurrying and talking fast in this video because I have to edit it. I have to get it going because this has to go up before TLC because nobody's gonna watch a news episode during TLC. Plus, I'm giving you guys rumors about TLC right now, so if you're watching this after TLC, This rumor probably won't make sense, but I'm going to try anyway. So this one is going to be your final rumors for the TLC pay-per-view. So first off, we're going to just group all these together. We're going to talk very fast here. So first off, Charlotte Flair is going to be returning to she's actually going to be returning to be the mystery partner for Asuka. Charlotte Flair's back after a months and months of hiatus and having to have surgery and then doing stuff in Hollywood. Now she's back to wrestling, so Charlotte Flair, maybe tonight. Next up, Drew McIntyre versus AJ Styles was not originally supposed to be the match. The match was originally supposed to be Drew McIntyre versus Braun Strowman, but of course Braun Strowman got injured with a knee thing and had to rehab it, so Braun's not cleared to wrestle, so then they swapped in AJ Styles for Braun. Next rumor, it's about the Inferno match tonight. So if you don't know, we're having a wonderful Inferno match tonight between Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton, or the Fiend and Randy Orton. So basically, the question remains, Inferno match. Does that mean like a traditional Inferno match, like the ring is going to be surrounded in fire, or does that mean something different and they're doing something different? There's a rumor they may be doing something different other than the ring of fire, so we'll just have to wait and see what they change up. Okay, next up, it's about Roman Reigns. So Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens is kind of just a filler match. Kevin Owens is just kind of someone to fill in the gap for the TLC pay-per-view, and Roman Reigns will actually be moving on to a new opponent for the next pay-per-view, the Royal Rumble, and that opponent is rumored to be Daniel Bryan. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the final little point I have about the TLC rumors is going to be Hurt Business is winning the Raw Tag Team Championships tonight. Now remember, these are all rumors, so take them all with a grain of salt. None of them could be true, but some of them may be true. So there you guys have, that is going to do it for this episode of WWE News and Rumors. Remember, I am doing videos tonight with my reactions to the TLC pay-per-view, so come back to the channel and check that out. Right now on screen, I will leave a link to 2 previous videos for you guys to check out. But thank you guys for watching this video. I am Brandon Hodge, and I will see you guys in the next video.